So let's not wait, and let's host Mr. Phillipe Cloutier. So Mr. Cloutier, thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
Excellent. So let's talk, first of all, of your last interview. Because the last interview you gave us, you said that you expected to have $1.3 million in terms of exploration budget for the year and Benoit, and you published the results. So you drilled already 4,155 meters. So how much of the campaign remains out of the Benoit project?
We completed that program in mid-March. We did 4,250 meters.
Okay.
That was the second drill program that we had on Benoit. And both programs clearly confirm the potential to grow the resource at depth.
Okay.
The initial project resource was from 0 to 250 meters, and that had been delineated by Inmet Mining, Murugor, and Free West at the time. Our two programs focused on a depth of about 450 to 700 meters. And as I pointed out, both programs were successful. Now, with this project, we were acquiring 100% interest via $6 million in exploration work over 6 years. At the end of this second program, we approached Murugor to see if we could not accelerate the option agreement and, in fact, buy the remaining, the 100% interest in the project. So that's our buying discipline, is that we focus on projects that have resources and that have potential to grow at depth or along strike. And Benoit clearly had those ingredients. So we purchased 100% interest for $250,000, and that was announced in May. The transaction has since closed, and it's official. The second thing we did is that we purchased a second project, which was Chimo.
Well, before Chimo, I want to talk about Benoit first. With the drilling results, so does that mean that with the potential that you find with Benoit, that we could expect maybe a 43-101 soon, or you would like to first of all acquire the 100%, make all the drill holes, and then
eventually we will go obviously to a 43-101, because this is the caliber of project that brings us to that step. I mean, there is a historical resource. We're trying to grow that resource. Obviously, we want to set in motion the 43-101 process when we get or feel that we're getting near the million ounce mark. And that's what we have to do now. And so Benoit is today in July of 2013, 100% ownership by Cartier. We have completed drilling. We're factoring that with all of the previous drill results. We're coming up with a new proposal to go beneath Benoit and to clearly see if we're going to reach that 1 million ounce mark. And that's what we're going to offer our investors late this fall or early in January. That's what we want to offer them, is a robust new diamond drill adventure. And we feel that now's the time to get in Cartier to seek out Benoit.
Benoit, there's also Fenton project which you have partnered with SOCAM. But in the last interview you said we actually, because you were financing and SOCAM was drilling.
They're operating.
Yeah, they're operating it. You were waiting for some proposals for SOCAM to how to...
That hasn't changed. We're still waiting, and obviously we're talking with SOCAM because Fenton, again, fits our business model. That is, acquire near-surface deposits and drill them at depth. And so what we're waiting on SOCAM's behalf is a proposal that will address that business model. The resource at Fenton, I think a historic resource is 75,000 ounces from 0 to 50 or 100 meters. We want to position holes down at 200 or 300 meters vertical to see if this lens continues, and actually there's several lenses. And so we're still waiting for their proposal, and their obligation is to provide that proposal to us by this fall. And so again, it's not a situation like Benoit and all the other projects. We're under no immediate obligations in 2013. So right now, our business model is to conserve our cash, continue to monitor the opportunities of acquisition. And so for Fenton, we're waiting for the proposal, and Benoit, we're creating that proposal.
So talking of that point here, to find new opportunities to monetize them, let's talk about the new project you just acquired from Blue Note. 2 new properties. So when do you expect the deal to be closed?
It is closed.
It is closed already?
Closed, yeah.
And why those projects?
Again, our business model is to occupy a window of opportunity where most juniors don't go. That is, they usually stake claims, grassroots level projects. And on the flip side, senior companies don't focus on projects that were historically demonstrated to be smallish. And so that leaves a window of opportunity for juniors like Cartier, and we're not alone, that focus on these projects, because essentially these projects have been de-risked by past exploration.
Okay.
And so in the last year or two, we've actually conducted a pretty hefty in-house program of Gen X exploration, where we review historical projects. And we provide a short, we generate in-house a short list of, the ones that we want to bid on. Chimo was one of them. And when Blue Note went the route of protection bankruptcy, the issue, we were invited to file an offer. And we did. And we were successful. And last Friday, which was July 12th, on July 12th, the Superior Courts awarded us 100% ownership of the project.
Okay.
Now, since we have 100% interest of Chimo, what we've set in motion is to generate a robust first pass exploration proposal.
Okay.
On the near infrastructure ounces. I mean, it is well known that the previous operators mined out the reserves. But they did very little work in terms of scoping for additional resources.
You got the difference between?
Well, the difference is that reserves are measured ounces in the ground.
Okay.
And when you're mining, you concentrate on those.
Okay.
If you have spare money as a mining operator, you devote some of that money to scoping out additional resources underground.
Okay.
Well, it appears that the previous operators were focused strictly on mining the mineral reserves and put very little effort or money into exploring for further resources, simply because that's not what they were doing at the time. I mean, the previous operators were Cambior. They were mining here in Canada and abroad. The price of gold was dropping. It was a corporate call to focus on the reserves only and not on trying to create new resources. Okay. That is a window of opportunity for Cartier. And so the proposal that we're generating for our investors right now for the project is to go in there and to drill near the existing underground workings and to hopefully generate an economic resource underground.
Okay. On this project, there's also Gold, which has a net smelting return on the two properties you acquired from Blue Note. You're a junior company, you manage your cash conservatively, but at a certain point, your burn rate is going to increase if you need to actually make some drilling programs. Do you intend to actually bring Gold as a eventual partner, just in case if ever the
Gold and or any serious contender that makes the right offer? We're not averse to going partnership for any of our projects.
Okay.
Obviously, it's always, we have to run simulations and see which will create more value for our investors. Investors first, and perhaps it's going the first round of exploration ourselves to add value and partner the project to somebody senior at a much higher price. Okay. Right now, most juniors are vulnerable, either because they do not have cash or because they do not have interesting projects. Cartier has cash, and arguably it has projects. Okay. And the graph I think you're showing are
that's the graph I wanted to show our viewers there. So you guys are actually located in that area, which means at the beginning of the upward trend, I should call it technically, where the discovery will be the main driver of that upward trend here. So in terms of discovery,
it's already been made. So the secret behind that graph is actually the graph was generated. It's known to the industry for many years now. It was generated by analysts who basically superimposed a bunch of stock charts of companies that made it from exploration to mining.
Okay.
And they discovered that there's basically two areas where investors make money: in the exploration process and in the production process.
Okay.
And so by studying that graph and by engineering into our business model the purchase of projects that have already proven discoveries on them, we were able to position ourselves at the very base of that next upward tick. And that's why we're comfortable in saying, buy Cartier now. We're a good opportunity.
Okay. One thing, because in your last interview, I know you guys are manage your cash conservatively, but you also want to have a low burn rate in the projects you cover. For the two projects you acquired, Chimo from Blue Note, they're going to require
a lot of exploration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you guys intend to, because you have a lot of projects, you have Benoit, Fenton, those two nice properties that you just bought, so how are you going to be able to actually focus on?
Well, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't fire on all three projects.
No.
I mean, it would entail either having to finance and dilute the company irresponsibly. So what we're doing right now is we're reviewing all our alternatives. Okay. Obviously, in a better market, this type of announcement would have strengthened our stock price. We would have been able to finance less dilutively, and we would move forward with this. Right now, the market conditions are challenging Cartier to think this one through. We're not averse to taking on a partner if the offer's right. We're not averse to financing part of it if we meet the right investor. You know, smart money and long-term holders. But in the end, we have cash in the bank. We have 100% ownership of these projects. No immediate obligations. So Cartier is really a junior to be looking at right now. I mean, we have engineered that successful ingredient into our business model, and that's our claim to fame. And investors that want to partake in that success, well, I think they should consider buying Cartier.
So you have not made, if I understand right, the decision yet to which project you're going to focus your attention.
We're running simulations on all the aspects for all of our projects. Is it better to finance or JV or sell? And where the numbers fall to the benefit of our shareholders, we will act.
Okay.
I mean, you were talking about a seller's discipline. We applied a buyer's discipline when we acquired these projects. We want to buy low and to maximize the value of these projects, either through partnership or equity raise, and we will make these projects move forward. Either way.
And to finance your, let's say that in the worst case scenario, because it might happen, let's say that you find no partners and you guys stuck with your three projects, you need to get to the capital markets to finance it. So do you intend to come to the capital markets in 2014 to fund your new drilling campaign?
It's funny that you should mention that, because we are getting calls from Europe. And we are getting calls from Asian potential partners. The markets here in North America are quiet, but it would appear that there are some investors that are listening and they're looking and they have spotted us. Because precisely between May and now, I have gotten a lot of calls by individual investors, institutional investors, senior companies. And so that's helping us add to the simulation, the simulations we want to run on which is the best route to take. And so, curiously enough, there are opportunities out there. Sure, I'd like people to buy our stock to lift to 25, 30, 35 cents. I'll do a short raise, and then the rest will be history.
So how do you respond to critics that say, Mr. Cloutier, you know what, you manage your cash conservatively, but why you are acquiring so many properties, why don't you focus on the Benoit project that you have, that has infrastructure-wise that looks great, that has a lot of mining camps around it, a lot of mining projects around it. Why don't you focus on that instead of acquiring projects here and there, and after seeing, okay, what are going to be the opportunities with this project or that project or this one? How do you respond to those critics? Because you heard, I'm sure you.
Yeah, I've heard that. If we weren't sitting on 2.5 million, or we were sitting on much less, let's say, then I would say, yeah, okay, our buying spree is over and we're focused on what we have. There are still some fantastic opportunities out there. I intend on participating in those buying opportunities if it happens. If not, then we're content with what we have. I mean, arguably, we have lined up Benoit, Chimo, Langlade, and they're all drill ready. They all have infrastructure. They're all welcome in the mining environment of Abitibi, and they're all structured to grow and have success. You're right. I mean, but right now, one thing is for sure is we're going to continue monitoring our spending.
Okay.
We've cut on personnel. We've cut on IR shows. We've cut on administrative charges. We've also cut down on buffer claims. So we've reduced our portfolio in terms of land management. We've done everything that's necessary to weather the storm.
Okay.
And as well as we're always out there shopping for the best asset, because markets will pick up. This industry is cyclical, and when it does pick up, we want to be able to say that we played the game as intensely as we could with the energies or monies that we had.
Okay, excellent.
And it will be to the benefit of our investors for sure.
So what to expect for 2014?
A really robust exploration program on Chimo and Benoit.
Okay.
We intend on drilling both projects with our money or somebody else's money, but we intend on having these projects lift off the ground.
Okay.
Because the potential's there. We've demonstrated the continuity of the mineralization at Benoit. We know there's potential at Chimo. There's no sense in sitting on that. Our predecessors did that, and it didn't give them much.
Yeah.
We have to be doing something different.
All right. So we look forward to hear from you in 2014 or even before?
I think before, yes.
Before?
You'll see me here before.
No problem.
With additional news. I think our investors will like that.
All right. We look forward for it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.